YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Today I got my cornerback rankings for the 2021 NFL Draft. This is a really good group, really deep group. Actually love it on day 2 of the NFL Draft. Almost think it's worth it just to draft best player available in the first round and almost grab one of these guys in day 2. I think that would be a pretty good strategy for some of these teams. Really hard to split them up in terms of rankings. It's really going to be determined by the scheme they go to, the coverage concepts. So mainly that's what I'm looking forward to when they come off the board during the draft. They're going to come off the board like last year in a completely random order. Very curious to see how that is. So I'm here to break it down here with these rankings. Follow our Twitter for constant NFL draft talk, fan voted mock draft, talking live during the NFL draft as well. Subscribe to the channel, more position rankings, safeties left. They got big board. We got a few other pretty cool videos planned. And then we'll have grades, winners, and losers after the NFL draft. So subscribe. Again, check out that Twitter. Here it is at GoatHouse NFL. We've been tweeting out polls for the fan voted mock draft that I'll react to, but I'm starting to tweet these out as well, these last year. So tweet out the quarterback ones. I'm going to do this for every position group, so it's going to be a lot of fun here to see your guys' opinions. So make sure you follow our Twitter. Any link that you're looking for will be down pinned in the comments. Superlatives for corners. Best in man coverage. Went with Jaycee Horn. Some good man, mainly at the top. Horn versus Surtain in man coverage. I'm going to go Horn, though. He just doesn't allow separation. Such good, very good in press. In zone, I'm going to go Caleb Farley. It's definitely up in the air, but Caleb Farley is damn good at zone and even almost leaving his zone when it's appropriate and kind of picking up the target because he's able to read the quarterback. Best in press. I think some people get confused. Press and man aren't always together, but best press is definitely Jaycee Horn. Unreal press ability, just so physical at the line. Most coverage versatile, meaning I think they can run different types of coverages, man and zone, different types of zone as well. I'm going to go Patrick Surtain. He ran quite a bit of man, but I see some upside, in zone coverage, like a cover 4. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Most position versatile, Aaron Robinson, played more snaps in the slot, but there is times on tape where he'll be in the slot, and the next play he'll be outside, and the next play he'll be in the slot. That is ridiculously hard to do, like insanely hard to do. So I'm going to go Aaron Robinson there. He's more of a slot guy, but I could see him being more of an outside guy at the NFL level. Best attacking the ball, I'm going to go Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State. Really good, buzzing his feet, getting out of his break, going up, attacking the ball, attacking the target, and creating those pass deflections in those plays that he's made, interceptions coming up with the ball. He's so close to having like almost double his interception rate because how good he is attacking the ball. Best athlete, Robert Rochelle, might be the biggest freak in this entire class. Central Arkansas product here. Absolute freak of an athlete. Unbelievable. So it's no-brainer there, but there's some pretty good athletes. Best tackler, tough not going Patrick Surtain because Patrick Surtain is a phenomenal tackler, but Elijah Griffin from USC, kind of a sleeper guy, but he wants to tackle. That's he flies up, makes that big hit. It's fun to watch because how much he enjoys tackling. Best playmaker can go several routes here. I wanted Paulson Adebo from Stanford. Really good making a play on the ball at its highest point or attacking the ball. Just getting, he's made plays throughout his career as well. Because of his playmaking ability, he can go a little earlier than expected, but the reason why he's not getting talked about enough is because, pretty much everything else, his tackling ability definitely needs work. So that, based on his playmaking ability, it looks like a first-round pick, but really not going to go close to there because of everything else. Best instincts, I'm going to go Caleb Farley, combining route recognition with, just being able to read the quarterback and knowing where the ball is going to go. So I'll go Farley. Boomer Bust, going to go back to Robert Rochelle. He has the elite athletic traits to be a top-tier corner in the NFL. And yes, you have to be pretty much a freak athlete or some sort of athlete to be an NFL cornerback. But played weaker competition, so we'll see if he puts it together. Doesn't have the technique down as well, so it's either going to be, he figures out the technique with the right coaching, and that matches with the athleticism. He's going to be ridiculous, maybe the best in this class one day, or he's just not really going to figure those things out, and could be a bust. Most upside, Caleb Farley. He was a quarterback, then receiver, then corner, a natural after only a couple years, freak athlete, still actually can get a lot better. Basically, if he stays healthy, if he for sure stays healthy, he's probably going to be the best cornerback from this class. I'll just say that. Sleeper, Ambry Thomas from Michigan. No clue why nobody's talking about him. Easily a day 2 corner, in my opinion. Big fan of his game. Deep sleeper, we talked about Elijah Griffin from USC. Doesn't have the traits, physical, athletic traits that teams look for in the later rounds, so that's probably why he'll get pushed back. But his tape was good. His tape was good, can tackle, but he'll probably drop just because he doesn't have, the length, the speed, the size, I guess, but he's got pretty good tape. Number 1, I'm going to go Jaycee Horn. These guys are so close. It's really going to depend on which team takes them. It really is going to, and you can say that for almost any, people say that for quarterbacks a lot. I think the cornerbacks matter the most for that, in my opinion. It's going to matter on the scheme, the coverage concepts that they go to. But I'm going to go Jaycee Horn. I mean, elite press technique, press ability, physicality, all of it. I mean, literally elite, and coaches are floored by, guys that can press. Well, this is the ultimate press corner. It's usually a guy, if he's that good, maybe one of the best press corners we've seen in a long time, usually they would get an elite grade. And you see, there are some things kind of holding them back. Why I don't give him an elite grade. There is more zone coverage in the NFL than there is man. He could definitely get better in zone. So that is holding him back from me giving him an elite grade. And pretty grabby, especially in zone coverage. So he could get called for more penalties in the NFL. So even though he's a number 1, he's a top tier prospect here. It's hard to say elite for those reasons, but rare type of prospect, allows very little separation. Seeing him going against pretty much anybody's played, Kyle Pitts, etc. Last year, Devontae Smith got some good separation on him, but it's a different type of receiver that he just happened to struggle with there. But and he has the ability, along with that press ability, he has the ability to turn his head, look at the quarterback, read where the ball is going. We saw that quite a bit. And attacks the ball pretty well. Just a shutdown type corner, which are the best in the NFL. There's some people that just look at who gets the most interceptions. No, the lockdown guys that could also make plays are the best cornerbacks in football, and that could be Jaycee Horn. Fantastic athlete as well. But like we said, there is more zone ran in the NFL than man coverage. So he does need to improve his zone game. So it's really going to depend on the team. There's some teams that rightfully so will have one of the corners that are probably better in zone coverage, number 1 on their board. That makes sense to me. Number 2, I'm going to go Patrick Surtain. It's really 1A and 1B at this point. Love Patrick Surtain's game. Long, athletic, physical, going to be a little longer than Jaycee Horn, of course. Really not arm length. They're about the same, but, taller. So some teams may like that. Really good technician in terms of, his hips. Everyone looking for, the corners that have the correct hip movement. Patrick Surtain's got it. He's got it, very good tackler, one of the best in the class for sure. Ran more man than zone, but I see him equally effective, in man and in zone. So that's a good thing as well, because teams want to run a mixture. And that was almost a reason why you could go Surtain 1, because I do think he's better in zone perhaps than Jaycee Horn, but I think Jaycee Horn can adapt, and that just the separation that he just does not give up, change directions a little better. So that was kind of the edge there. I think Surtain's got upside as his own corner, though. We didn't see him a whole bunch at it. I think if he goes to a cover 4 team, looking at, I don't think he's going to drop there, but what the Chargers are trying to do, Brandon Staley's defense, they run a lot of cover 4. Basically, he's going to have the outside quarters of the field, the outside lane, because you see his weakness. His weaknesses here, he does struggle against kind of the shallow routes, the slants to be specific, or the drags going across the field. So that is, if you're a man corner, you're going to have to be able to do that a little better, because you're going to have to follow across the field. But cover 4, cover 3, even cover 2, but there are some shorter routes on that, but you're staying to one side of the field. I think it's a ton of upside there. So that's kind of his flaw, but another guy that should go pretty early. Number 3, Caleb Farley, and I'll say if you could guarantee, which you can't, but if you can guarantee me that if Caleb Farley had no injury concerns whatsoever, he'd be my number 1 corner. He'd be my number 1 corner for sure. Just so much upside. This was a quarterback turned receiver turned corner. Doesn't have a whole lot of reps at the cornerback position. An absolute natural. His very first game at the college level playing cornerback position had 2 interceptions in that first game. Maybe it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it gives you an idea how talented this guy is. I mean, he's got fantastic. I mean, the best thing about anybody in this draft, I think, is Caleb Farley when it comes to not so much as route recognition, but he will almost, if you watch him, he will run the route for the wide receiver, and he'll run it better than the receiver. It literally looks like he is the receiver. That is a rare trait, if you want to call it, in terms of cornerbacks, and that is the main reason I love his game. But because the injury concern is legitimate, it's hard. It's hard to have him, at the top. It really, really is. He's effective in man and zone, equal to both, in my opinion. He's not going to press as well as the top two guys, so maybe that's a weakness, splitting him up from those two guys. Not really a weakness. But, yeah, injuries in 2017, 2019, and then we've seen the surgery here this offseason 2021 on top of that, inexperience. I wish he didn't opt out. If he played in 2020 and didn't get hurt, played the full season, and he still had that surgery that he just had, that would have been fine. If he played the whole season to get hurt, it would say a lot. He would prove to the world that, he's not an injury-prone guy or anything like that. He's had a past torn ACL, too. For some reason, cornerbacks just have a harder time coming back from that, too. I don't know. They seem to, their talent level goes down, and they just can't really come back for it. So it is different now. It's a different era where guys recover a little better from that, but it's tough because he's so talented, has so much upside. It's just definitely a guy some coaches would want to get their hands on. Number 4, I'm going to go Greg Newsome, who also has some, you call it more of durability concerns because he kind of gets hurt, gets knocked out of the game. He'll come back in, but then he'll miss, the next week. He's missed games in every single year of the career, looking at the of the season, looking at the past. So can he finish a season? I don't see any major injury concerns, like Caleb Farley, where he's going to be knocked out for a whole season. But is Greg Newsome going to be on the field, the whole time during the game? And is he going to play every single game of the season? That's a legitimate concern. It is, but he's very talented with upside as well, still getting better. He does have a small sample size of playing at this level. That was pretty much this year with the short season. So he is definitely a risky pick. There's some people out there that's saying that Newsome should go ahead of Farley because Farley has that concern. Newsome has the concern as well. So there's really no logic. If you just think Newsome is better than Farley, that's fine. That's your opinion. But I guess they have different types of injury concern. But if Farley doesn't have that disastrous injury, he's playing the whole season. Newsome could kind of be in and out of the game. So that's kind of the worry there. But he is very, very talented here. Very good athlete. Saw that on the field this year. Saw that his pro day. Great technique. Another one with his hips and his feet. We talked about in the superlatives section of this video, Asante Samuel, very good attacking the ball. Greg Newsome, right there with them. Really good kind of breaking down, attacking the ball, breaking on the ball, even if it doesn't mean getting the interception, just, getting that pass deflection. But I think as well as, if there's a ball carrier, a guy catches the ball underneath, he fires up and he wants to hit him. Dominant downfield, especially this year. I know it's kind of a small sample size, but he didn't give up anything downfield. Was really good. There were some opportunities too, but he just, I call it bringing the hammer when, the guy brings the corner brings the arm down and just knocks the ball loose. Quite a few of those. You like to see that. And he's shown improvement, of course, because he didn't really play at the round 1 level before that. But there are some concerns there. Definitely a round 1 talent. Number 5 is going to be Asante Samuel Jr. It's kind of borderline round 1, round 2. I wouldn't really have one of those guys. Wouldn't really have a problem if somebody took him late first, depending on who's on the board. But attacks the ball extremely well. Just always, his best moments are him attacking the ball, just so quick out of his break, out of his back pedal, just attacking the ball. So you love to see that. Similar to his dad there, who I loved, to watch play the game. Was a great corner. Playmaker's instinct kind of goes into that. Just knows when the ball is about to be released out of the quarterback's hands, and knows when to kind of buzz and get up there. Footwork and quickness kind of go into that. That plays a part why he's so good at that. I think he's equally effective in zone and man. You look at him, he's sure he's undersized, and you think maybe he's not good in press. Man, he's pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be running a whole bunch of it at the NFL level. I see upside. Whenever Florida State was kind of in cover 3, cover 4, he's able to sit back there and read the quarterback even better than he does when he's in man. Obviously, it's a little easier to. So a team that runs, I really think, a lot of cover 3, I think he's going to be a playmaker back there. I really do. So some big time upside there. So even if he goes first round to a cover 3 heavy team, I'm gonna like it. Considered undersized, maybe by some NFL teams. He's pretty built. Doesn't really play like he's undersized, so I'm not really too worried. But, I guess that kind of goes into trying to shed blocks sometimes, so it can kind of get blocked downfield. I guess it's a big thing that separates them from the rest, because you do need your corners to be able to get around blocks. If you can't kind of shed it, you got to get around it, so he could be a little better there. The next few, we got another page after this as well. These guys in the second round are just so tough to split up. It's going to depend on the scheme. I'm kind of back and forth on a lot of these guys. I really like the upside of Tyson Campbell. You look at him versus teammate Eric Stokes. Stokes is known as having the better year. I think Campbell had tougher tasks sometimes. I like his technique better. I like his upside for the NFL level a little better. They both had their share of covering the best receiver on the field at times. I thought Campbell ended up covering him. Some games one would start on the better target. Another game, another one. I thought Campbell would end up on the guy most of the time. I thought he did a little better. I think too many people look into how many yards he gave up, on all these guys, and that determines on how well he did against this receiver. But how many reps did he have against this receiver? How's his technique looking? How's his press looking? How's he in zone? Can we work with this? So those are the reasons that Tyson Campbell is going to be pretty high on this list here. Kelvin Joseph, a raw prospect, not a whole bunch of reps, was a top recruit going to LSU. We really don't know why that didn't work out there. Ended up in Kentucky. Was pretty damn good for them. I think another guy that's good in man, good in zone. A lot of upside. He's kind of got the body type, the traits that you want to work with to be a better corner. A corner that could end up being one of the better ones in the class if you work with him right. Eric Stokes, going to be 8. Great athleticism and length. Really good covering underneath routes. I'd like him for a cover 2 team, I'd say. Cover 2 that runs some press. That would be ideal for Stokes. A little better shallow than downfield. Sometimes when he knew he had to cover downfield, he would kind of play a little too far off or get too far in his back pedal where they just, get a free shot underneath, even though he's good at covering underneath. But, when his responsibilities were a little deeper, he doesn't really miss tackles, but he definitely lets blockers or the ball carrier drive him for a little extra yards as well. But I do like his upside there. Got the traits, athleticism, length for sure. Gonna go Aaron Robinson 9. He played more slot than outside. I almost see an outside corner here, so we'll see. I'm really curious to see who takes and where they put him. He can even play safety. In my opinion, very talented. Did give up some plays, but felt like he was kind of the most important guy. He kind of went where the defense, where he was most needed. So very important. I think he actually could look even better at the NFL level. He actually went to Alabama, and he actually played right away at Alabama. And they had a lot of guys in and out then. End up being Patrick Surtain and Trevon Diggs show for a while there. So, but he's that talented. So we know he's that talented. So that's a pretty good thing. Ambry Thomas, I'm going to be higher on him than pretty much everyone out there. I love his tape. A little risky. He did opt out this year because of a health concern where he lost like 30 or so pounds, was in the hospital. So that's a little scary, but it's not like an injury thing on the field where it's going to come back. He gained the weight back. He's extremely athletic. He looks on the thinner side, but he's physical. He's very good in press. He's really good at recognizing routes and when to jump. He used to be a receiver, so I think that helps. When to jump routes, when to make the play. Pretty solid tackler. Definitely needs to get off blocks a lot better, though. That's kind of the concern there, and I guess the concern is it's a raw talent. We didn't really get to see a whole bunch of him, but I really like his tape. I'm a big fan of Ambry Thomas from Michigan there. Ifeatu Melifonwu, I like him a lot too, but it's tough to split these guys up. I would love for him to go another one of those guys. I want him to go to a cover 3, maybe cover 4 team. Wouldn't be a fan I shouldn't say I wouldn't be a fan, but I would really want him in cover 3 or cover 4. And I guess that kind of goes into his negative. His negative is he seems like a guy that's really afraid to get beat deep. And, those guys really have a hard time at the next level. So that's a tough one. Guys that just play too far off, they don't really care if they give up the 8-yard curl, which is a problem because he's too afraid to get beat deep. When you have your athleticism, your profile in general. You should not be a guy that is afraid to get beat deep. So that is a problem for me, but just a freak of a dude. Just the frame, the athleticism, everything. Change direction for that size, ridiculous. That's the tough part too because he can press very well. He's just so eager to just get back though because he doesn't want to get beat deep. So it's tough. but maybe force him where his job is to kind of play deeper could be ideal. So it really depends on which team he ends up. He could go late first. Pretty good tackler too, runs up. He's not afraid to get back up once the ball carrier's got the ball, or the catch is made. So there's some things I really like. There's some things that a little scary. Robert Rochelle, we talked about him, maybe the biggest athletic freak in the entire class. Another guy that was a receiver turned cornerback, played at Central Arkansas, which is a small school, obviously, so he's going to play a lot better competition. Was a fantastic playmaker. Looks like a very solid corner for not really knowing the position. His technique definitely needs to get better. He can break on the ball a little better, but he's got insane upside. So some of these guys just need to go to a very good DB coach or defensive coach, and they'll be something special. Paulson Adebo, really good playmaker. I like him better in zone coverage for sure. Really good playmaker. I want to like him even more. I do like him, but tackling's definitely an issue for sure. Doesn't really have the best technique, honestly, but the tape is good where he just jumps routes, makes plays, go up to tackle the highest point there, beats the receiver to it, But the tackling seems to not. It was an issue last year's class. All those guys for the most part could get better tackling. This year it's pretty damn good, but then so that could be something that splits up a Debo from the rest there. Elijah Molden, I really like in a slot or kind of a box safety, a big nickel type guy. He's a big-time playmaker, reacts to where the ball's going. Lacking, I guess, in the speed department compared to the rest of these guys. The rest of these guys are, they're flyers, but I think somebody's going to get a really slot corner here in late second, early third. Rodarius Williams, actually Greedy Williams' brother here, big-time sleeper. I like him a lot. Long, athletic, can tackle for sure, knows how to tackle, wants to come up and tackle. Really good playmaker. Another one that would probably fit cover 3 best in my opinion. Cover 2 perhaps. Cover 2, cover 3, around that range. That's a sleeper. I haven't really heard much about him going in the round 4 range, but I think he should. And a few more here. Again, we'll have a way bigger list than this, a little closer to draft. I'll tweet out a link to a spreadsheet with all my rankings and grades. Marco Wilson, another athlete, has the traits you're looking for as well, but a phenomenal athlete. Gave up quite a bit at Florida. He got beat at times, but it's a guy you want to work with. Pretty much everyone this year on Florida was getting beat. They didn't really have much of a pass rush. They're going against Alabama. They're going against these teams. So he could have a better NFL career. Remember his teammate last year, C.J. Henderson, he got beat up a little bit too. He had a wild play, but he got beat up, gave up a lot of production. That didn't matter for NFL teams because he had the traits. And the same thing could be for his teammate here, Marco Wilson. He can go a lot earlier in this. He's definitely not as good as C.J. Henderson, though. Tay Gowan from Central Florida, long, athletic, pretty physical as well. I like his game. Was a former community college player there, transferred to UCF. Thomas Graham, cornerback from Oregon. I like his tape as well, too. Pretty tight in coverage, pretty good playmaker, knows how to attack the ball. Some of these other guys got a lot more length, maybe size than him, but I think he's got a pretty solid tape. Could go in that 4-5 range. Zach McPherson from Texas Tech. He was actually at Penn State. Had some hopes there. Didn't really work out. So I guess that's the concern. Why couldn't he get on the field at Penn State? But was pretty good tape at Texas Tech. A lot of high-powered passing offenses too. Was pretty impressive. Good in press, good in zone. Pretty good technique. Quick, athletic. Benjamin St. Juste, really long corner. Another one that's pretty damn athletic. Can come up and tackle as well. So he, I got him the last 2 there around the 5th round. But there's a lot of good corners. There's a lot of good corners. People are going to get, a little later. Elijah Griffin from USC. I think Sean Wade's going to be a heck of a slot corner. Shakur Brown from Michigan State, I think is going to be a good slot corner. Maybe lacking in the athleticism department, or speed department a little bit. It's a really good group. Again, I'll tweet out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Link down below. I'm going to tweet out a big spreadsheet with an insane amount of players ranked on there. Once we're ready, it's going to be a day or 2 before the draft probably. So you're definitely that's something you want to keep handy during the draft. Your team gets a guy, you go back and you check it out just to see my opinion on things if you want to. But that is going to do it for the corner rankings. Really not a fan of the corner rankings, to be honest. I enjoy doing them, but I think it should be kind of, almost in tiers or based on coverage concepts. So it's really going to depend on who drafts these guys and what type of scheme they're going to be in. And then we'll know more, but it's, I guess, maybe to get an idea on the grade, the round grade. So not really the order they're in, but the round grade that I gave them. But safeties we got next, and then we got a big board coming maybe early next week on the big board. I'm gonna rank 50 players or so. There's some excited about that. Got other things planned as well. Final mocks, a lot going on on our Twitter, so check that out. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.